And we're going to check Tuesday's daily math. The first question asks you to write the number 208,478 in expanded form. So if I'm writing a number in expanded form, I'm going to write the value of each digit, and I'm going to separate them with addition signs in between. So we'll start with the greatest place value. It's a 2 in the 100 millions. So 200 million. Next I have a 0. I do not have to write 0 because it doesn't have any value. So I'll go on to the next digit. And that's an 8 in the millions place value. So I'll add 8 million. I do not have any 100,000s. Have no 10,000s and no thousands. So I can skip all of those. Next I go to the hundreds. I have 4 hundreds plus 7 tens plus 8 ones. So 200 million plus 8 million plus 400 plus 70 plus 8. The middle choice is correct. Next I'm finding the difference. So that tells me I'm going to subtract. I've got 21,807 minus 10,739. If I start at my ones, I have 7, and I cannot take 9 away from 7. So I go to borrow for my tens, but I have no tens. So I have to go all the way to the hundreds. So that leaves me with 7 hundreds. Okay, 7 hundreds equals 10 tens. But I need to use one of those tens, so that leaves me with 9. So I'll make that 1 10 into 10 ones plus the 7 I already have makes 17. 17 minus 9 is 8. 9 minus 3 is 6. 7 minus 7 is 0. 1 minus 0 is 1, and 2 minus 1 is 1. So the answer is 11,068. Number 5 asks you to list the first 5 multiples of 20. So I'm going to skip count by 20s. So 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. And I'm listing all the factors of 21, so the numbers that multiply together to equal 21. I can start with 1 and 21. 2 is not a factor because 21 is not even, so I can move on to 3. 3 times 7 equals 21. Check 4. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 6 is 24. So I know that 4 is not a factor. Check 5. 5 can't be a factor because 5 multiples of 5 always end in 0 or 5. Check 6. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 4 is 24. So 21 does not have a factor of 6. Then I come to 7, and I already have 7 listed as a factor because 3 times 7 is 21. So I know that I've found all the factors. So moving on to number 7. Is 21 prime or composite? I know that 21 is composite because it has more factors than 1 in itself. 3 times 7 also equals 21. Now I am completing the pattern 5, 10, 15, 20. So next would be 25, 30, 35. So I'm adding 5 to each number. Next we have 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. So remember that funny looking little function machine. And I could have done the same thing with the problem above. I'm going to put in a number. The rule is going to change it. Something's going to happen in the machine, and it's going to pop out a number. So if I put in 1, something happens for me to get 2. Then if I drop a 2 in, something's going to happen, and I'll get out 4. Then if I drop in a 4, something's going to happen. I'm going to get an 8. If I drop in that 8, something's going to happen, and I'm going to get out 16. So I've got to figure out what my rule is and how it's changing so that I can complete the pattern. If I put in 1 and I get 2 out, 1 plus 1 equals 2. So we'll try 1 plus 1. So then if I do 2 plus 1, I would get out 3, not 4. So I know that it can't be adding. So I've got to go back to the start. 1 changes to 2. What if I did 1 times 2? 1 times 2 is 2. Let's check it for the rest. 2 times 2 gets me 4. 4 times 2 gets me 8. 8 times 2 gets me 16. So I can see that the rule is going to be multiply by 2. So my next number in the pattern, 16, if I put in a 16 and I'll multiply times 2, I'll get 32. If I put in 32, 32 times 2 we'll get 64. Then if I put that 64 in, 64 times 2 gets 128. So my rule is previous number times 2. We're multiplying each number times 2 to find the next number in the pattern.